Hello everyone, my name is Chirag Patil and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I'm super excited to share that I'm creating a new playlist or you can say series of video in which we will see all about the LLM. So we'll start from what is LLM and we will see the architecture of it. So you can understand how these models like ChatGPT and BERT are working internally. So we will see the architecture of it, which is basically a transformer architecture, and we will break down that architecture and learn it the deep level. So we can understand like what is tokenization, how positional encodings are working, what is self attention, and how these models are able to provide the answer which we are using currently, right? That's not all. We will also implement our own LLM from scratch and we will see how they are pre-trained and how to train them and how to fine tune for a particular task. So at the end, you will get the better idea that how these LLMs are working, and you also get the hands-on that how to implement these LLMs, right? So if you haven't subscribed my channel, please subscribe it and stay tuned to upcoming videos. So let's jump into the video. So first of all, we will see what is the LLM, right? So before the LLM, which is large language model, let's see what is language model at the simpler level, right? So language model is nothing but you can say artificial intelligence system, or in the simplest way you can think as a neural network which is understand our task and generate a next word. So simplest task of the LLM was like predict the next word, right? So it can understand whatever we had written till now and it will try to analyze the text and predict a next text basically. So it will also understand our language as well. Of course it will be a language dependent, right? If you are writing the English sentence, it will predict the next word in the English, right? So you had already used this kind of system, right? So if I say this one, if you see this GIF, I just use this repository. They have a good GIF. So if you see whenever a person is typing word, it is suggesting a do, and then based on that it will suggest the next, like based on this two word, it will predict a next word. Then based on four previous four word, it will predict the fifth word of it, right? So this is how the language models are trained. So they are very good at understanding a language and predicting a next word, right? So this is my simplest task of the language model. So now let's come to what is large language model, right? So large language models, what is so large in that, right? So first thing, they are trained on a very large number of data set, right? So if you consider language model are trained on millions of word, but LLMs are trained on a billions or even trillions of piece of text, right? So they are basically crawling a Wikipedia data or open data on the web, and they will train on that data. Of course the model is also large, right? So that's why it is called as a large language model. So one thing is model is very large, it has a billions of parameter, and second it is trained on a large number of data point, or you can say large number of tokens. We will see in upcoming video what is token and how tokenization things are working inside, right? So that's why it is called a large language model. So how they are good, right? Large language model basically. So if you see, okay, let me scroll this. Yeah, here. So basically a large language model are very good at generating a text that feels like it a human written, right? So you have already used somewhere like chat GPT kind of thing, right? When you are saying or writing some prompt and it will generate a text which is hard to distinguish like it is written by a human or the model, right? Or you can say AI system. And second thing, it can understand your tricky question as well. So you can ask some question and it can generate the answer based on that. So it is very good at understanding your question as well. It could be a tricky question as well, right? And third is like it is handling a complex task like writing code itself. So you can see like copilot, right? It can create a code as well. ChatGPT also can create the code for you, right? Of course we need to check and test it before it using, but it is able to generate. The second part is summarizing a lengthy article, right? It is very useful thing. If you see whenever like in the law domain or any thesis and research kind of domain, you can provide your research paper and it will summarize it and you can just see the summary of it, right? And it can also like analyze your sentence or tone as well. Like you can ask like it is like a polite tone, or you can provide the prompt as well, like write this thing in the polite way, right? It will rephrase it. So this is like very good part of the large language model, as they are a very large model and trained on the large data set, they are able to do this task, right? We will see how it is happening in the upcoming videos. So the large language model, the example of it, like a so-called like chat GPT, right? The GPT generative pre-trained transformer, and the BERT is a bidirectional encoder representation from the transformer. So these systems are inspired by a way human process the language and understand the context, tone, and the meaning as well, right? So they are not analyzing your individual word. Like if you see the previous models, like before the transformer, right? And in the initial era of the machine learning, they are just processing word by word and using one hot encoding and then predict some binary classification, right? They are not good enough to generate a new text, right? So that's where transformers comes into the picture and generate a human like text, right? So all thanks to the self attention mechanism which is introduced in the paper, attention is all you need, right? So let's see some real world application of LLM. So first most like chatbot, right? So you can build the interactive chatbot powered by the LLM like ChatGPT, right? Second thing is machine translation. So in LLM also, like there is, we also improve the input sequence length, right? So you can provide the large number of text as an input and generate the output, right? So it is also helpful in the machine translation. And text summarization also, as I said, like we can provide the long document or long tokens of sequence, and it will extract the meaningful information of it, right? So as I say, like it is the game changer for industry like law, healthcare, and journalism, right? For this content generation, also we can ask to the chat GPT like write the blog on this topic, right? And it will generate, and it is also like very good format, and it's look like the human generated text, right? The fifth is code generation. Code generation is nothing but whenever you are providing a prompt, it will able to generate the code for that. Like if you say like write the code for palindrome, right, in the Python, then it will generate a code in a Python for that palindrome program, right? So one of the most famous example is Copilot, right? So this is about the real world application of LLM. So now what are the challenges with the LLM? So first and most, like as it is the large model and we are using a large amount of data, right? So of course it will utilize a large number of resources as well, right? So training this model takes a lot of computing power, which can be expensive in terms of money as well, right? And second, it will affect the environment as it will use more amount of GPU, right? And there is a more carbon emission, right? Okay, second thing is there are also ethical issues like bias, spreading false information, and privacy concerns are there, right? So, for example, if you are training a LLM and in which, let's say, it is related to the doctor's data, right, of the doctor's information, and in most of the documents there are a male doctor, right? So, whenever there is a thing or talk related to the doctor, that LLM will presume or think like doctor will be always a male, right? But doctor is not the designation which is related to the gender, right? So it might be happen sometimes due to the bias of the data, right? Second thing, there is a privacy concern. So of course it is trained on the large number of data, right? Let's say a newspaper, stories, and Wikipedia data, but there are high chances that your privacy or private data can be a leak. Of course it will be anonymized, but there might be a chance, right? And second, it can create a false information, as like we know the LLM is not checking the fact, right, but it is predicting the word based on the previous pattern or whatever data it learns, right? So it might generate the false information. It is our task to validate them. They will not validate, they will just predict and generate the text, right? So there's like same a transparency issue, like it can create a mistakes and gives the misleading information. So whenever the true and correct information is required, right, so we cannot like be dependent directly on the LLM. We also need to check the thing like it is correct or not, because it will never fact checked, right? The LLM will never check the fact whatever it is predicting the word, right? As mentioned, like whenever you are asking ChatGPT or Copilot to generate the code, right, it's our task to test it and validate it like it is whether it will reduce your time, but at the end we need to validate the answer of it, right? So this is some challenges of the LLM, right? So this is all about the what is LLM in the brief. In next video we will see what is the architecture the LLMs are following, which is transformer architecture. We will see in the brief, and then we will deep dive into each of this component, right? If you like this video, please press a like button and subscribe my YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get notification whenever I upload a new video of this LLM series. Thank you.